Hi, I'm back again. I was tagged in the new to Booktube tag by Steve. I was tagged by Steve Donahue. The originator of the tag is Between Chapters, is her channel name. So let's jump right in. I'm reading it off my phone. Where are you, number one, where are you joining us from? I live in the North Georgia mountains. I moved up here from about an hour south of Atlanta, Georgia. I moved up here to go to college, so here I am. How old are you? I am 22. Why did you join Booktube? Because I have no friends that like books as much as me, which is weird because I'm an English major at North Georgia, University of North Georgia. So I'm surrounded by people who should like reading, but they don't, because a lot of people use the excuse that they already have so much reading to do for class that they don't have time to do it in their free time, which may be true because most of my friends are more involved in extracurricular things, whereas I just come home and read. So I joined Booktube because of that reason, so that I could talk about books. But I found Booktube because I found Booktube for the same reason, and I didn't like the fact that I feel like by just being a commenter, I wasn't engaging enough in the community, and I wanted to get to know a lot of the people that I watched. So I figured the best way to do that was to make videos myself so that they could see me as well, because it's kind of creepy to just like, well, whatever. I don't want my commenters to think they're creepy, so let's just move on. Number 4, what is the meaning behind your channel name if it's something other than your name? It is my name. Number 5, what type of books do you read / want to talk about here? I do largely enjoy literary fiction and classics. And since joining Booktube, I realized that a lot of people, when they say classics, they strictly mean capital C classics, as in Greek and Roman type of old stuff, which is true for me as well, because right now it may change next week because I change my mind all the time, but I am really interested in this classics MA/philosophy PhD program in Boston at Boston University. So anyway, I like classics in both, in both ways. I do like comics to an extent. I'm not huge on just really action-y fight scene kind of comics, but comics, graphic novels. I like manga, which I feel in the people I watch, manga is a little underrepresented. What else? I'm looking at the books I just hauled. That's about it. Anyway, 6, what are some of your favorite authors? I really like Donna Tartt. I've read 2 of her 3 books. I still have to read The Little Friend, which is her 2nd book. I like John Steinbeck a good bit, but I've read quite a few of his books, but he's written a ton of books, so I've only read a fraction of what he's written. As far as if you want to talk about manga, I really like the author and illustrator of Death Note. I know the illustrator's name is Obata, and I can't remember the author's name. That's so bad. I feel like that's a thing in manga as well, as people aren't as familiar with authors' names as they are with normal books. But anyway, those are some of my favorite authors. What's the last book you read? I read a couple individual comic issues recently, Snot Girl and The Hunt, but I can't remember the last like bigger book that I read. I read The Secret History recently. I don't know, I've been so busy trying to finish up some schoolwork, and then my dad passed, and that was like 2 weeks ago, and so I had a lot of intense catching up to do. But But currently I'm reading The Witching Hour by Anne Rice, and I won't say I really like it so far, but it is good so far. I'm only 50 pages in, so we'll see. What are you currently reading? The Witching Hour by Anne Rice. Show us your current TBR pile. There is no such thing. Most of my entire library is actually unread books, because I like the idea of walking into my library or my office or whatever you want to call it and having tons of books to choose from. So I see nothing wrong with, this might just be me making excuses for myself, but I see nothing wrong with buying a ton of books and not getting to them immediately. I feel like a lot of people look down upon that, but I just view it as an opportunity to always have something to read. So my entire library would be my TBR. There are a bunch of books. I don't have a bedside table. I have a bedside bookshelf, which I just keep a lot of books on that I want to get to soonish. There is the second Game of Thrones book on there. The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. The first Wheel of Time book. A bunch of books that I was going to read for a class about the Beat Generation, but now I don't think I'm going to take the class. There is a Saul Bellow book, which is actually in French. My stepmom got it for me in Quebec. Anyway, that's just some of the many things I want to read soon. Number 11, which do you prefer, hardcover or paperback? Ebooks or physical books? Owning or borrowing books? Hardcover, paperback. I prefer paperback because they're just easier to read. Ebooks or physical books. I honestly have no preference, because I really like having physical books because that's just traditional, you know what I mean? Like, nothing can beat holding an actual book. But at the same time, with ebooks, I can lay in bed and like lay sideways and hold hold the e-reader, you know, sideways with me without having to hold up and like handle a book. Owning or borrowing books, I do prefer to own books. Number 12, what book or series got you into reading? Who knows? My mom told me that I taught myself to read when I was 3, and that she picked me up from school one day and my teacher said, you know, she just reads in the corner by herself all day, right? And my mom was like, no, good to know. So I've been a weirdo reader since I was really, really young. Number 13, how did you discover Booktube? I told you this earlier. I just, maybe specifically I looked for a book review or something, or I don't really know. I've always been more into into YouTube than I have been into TV, so I probably just stumbled upon it randomly one day. I don't know. That's kind of a boring answer. I'm sorry. I just did discover Booktube. I don't remember. Number 14, what challenges do you think you'll face with your own channel? Quality, like, this is probably as good as it's gonna get, because I don't really plan to spend a ton of money on a camera and fancy lighting. I just kind of like the authenticity of sitting down at a just kind of everyday kind of setting. I don't know, I guess, so professionalism, I guess. I'm afraid that I won't read enough and be able to put up enough book reviews to satisfy people, or maybe I won't do enough hauls or something, because I've really tried to cut back on hauls lately, but that seems to be what people like the most. I don't know, just the same concerns that a lot of people have. But before I joined Booktube, I was afraid that no one would like me, and that has proven not to be true, that Booktube is a very welcoming and kind community, so that's a good thing. Number 15, where else can we find you? I am on Twitter. I don't have a bookish Facebook page, just a personal one. Instagram, which I never remember to post to. And it's not just books, it's like everything. I did have a book, we call it Bookstagram. I did have a Bookstagram, but there was just so much pressure to post at least one picture every single day, and it had to be like perfectly well lit, and it had to be like fancy looking, and I just don't, I'm too lazy. I'm sorry. I just can't. It just wasn't for me. So it was a lot of pressure. So that ended up falling by the wayside. So I just went back to my normal personal Instagram, and people just have to deal with me posting about books every so often. And if you're there for books, you have to deal with me posting about my flowers or my dog every so often. So Instagram, Twitter, I'll link them below because I'm a loser and can't even remember my usernames. I think Twitter is at Miranda_reads, and I think Instagram is Miranda_Hayes, Hayes, like my channel title. I want to start a blog soon because I think that would help me get into the publishing industry, or like the reviewing industry, like get people to send me books for free to review. That's pretty much it. And then here on YouTube. So yeah, I'll leave all those links in the description. But yeah, that's about it. So, oh, I don't know who to tag because I think everybody's already done this. So if you're watching this and you haven't done it, consider yourself tagged if you want to do it. Because I know I do that. Like, I watch a video and I'm definitely not tagged and do it anyway. So, yeah, that's it for now. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.